Hey there, and welcome to this tutorial where we are going to learn how to create a fan-made animation of the anime Demon Slayer using Vidu. In this video, I'll guide you through the animation process step by step. The parts about creating voices, music, and effects will be covered in another tutorial. You'll see, it's not complicated at all. Alright, let's get started. Here, you have the main window, where you can choose between different AI models. For this project, we'll mostly use the model called Q1. Right now, there are 3 different modes you can use to create videos with Vidu. You've got image to video, then there's text to video, and finally there's reference to video. And that's the mode we'll be using in this tutorial. So we're going to start by creating a scene with young Tanjiro walking on water. As you can see here, we can start by typing a prompt. So I'll write something like, young Kamado Tanjiro walking on water, and this is important. As you can imagine, the AI doesn't actually know what Tanjiro looks like. That's where reference images come in. We need to show the AI what our character looks like, so it can use the right appearance. To do that, we'll simply look for an image of Tanjiro online. Just make sure the image is clear and high quality, where the character is easy to see. Think of it this way. If you give a blurry photo of a character to a person and ask them to draw it, they'll probably struggle. Well, it's the same for the AI. The better the reference, the better the result. Alright, now that we've added the image, the AI knows exactly what our character should look like, because it has a reference to work from. So now, all that's left is to submit the prompt, and boom! As you can see, the AI nailed it. It copied the character's appearance perfectly, and it's doing exactly what we asked. The only issue though, is that if you look closely at the animation I made earlier, the background isn't the same. In my version, the background had a bright blue sky, beautiful colours, and really nice contrasts. But here, we've got a pretty generic, default looking background. So, how do we tell the AI to recreate the exact kind of sky I had in mind? Yep, you guessed it, we'll need more reference images. I'm going to show the AI exactly what kind of sky I want by finding an image that matches my vision. Let's hop over to Google and look for a few sky references. And here we go, this one right here is exactly what I had in mind for the blue sky. Here's a little personal tip. When it comes to finding reference images, Pinterest is honestly one of the best tools out there. You'll find everything. Anime screenshots, character sheets, concept art. It's really helpful to guide your prompts and keep things stylistically consistent. Alright, now we're going to do the exact same thing we did earlier, except this time we're going to add our image with that beautiful blue sky. And in the prompt, we're just going to mention the sky. So for example, I'll write something like, Tanjiro is walking on water, and above him there's a magnificent blue sky. That's it. Super simple. Just a small tweak, but it'll really help guide the AI toward the exact vibe we want. Okay, awesome! Now we've got a background with much nicer colours and contrast. Exactly the vibe I was going for. But the textures still feel kind of 3D, don't they? So here's what I'm going to do. I'll add a new reference image, this time a screenshot from the anime itself. That way, the AI will better understand the visual style I want. I'll crop the image so only the character is visible, because if I leave those fingers hovering above his head, yeah, you can imagine the weird results we might get. And just like that. Now we've got a proper 2D look, plus a beautiful background, exactly how I pictured it. Alright, now let's say I want some sakura petals to be falling. How do I do that? Yep, you know it. I'll just add an image of sakura petals as a reference, and bam, there's the effect. Alright, now let's take a look at different types of shots to make our animation feel a lot more dynamic. The idea is to switch up the framing to add rhythm, emotion, and really pull the viewer into the scene. First up, the establishing shot. That's a wide view of the whole environment. It sets the scene and shows where the action is happening. Then you have the close-up. That's a tighter shot, maybe from the chest up, where we focus more on the character. And finally, the extreme close-up. That's when we get really close, like on the character's eyes, or a specific detail of their face. So if I want a super focused view of Tanjiro's expression, I could say, extreme close-up on Kamado Tanjiro's face. Or, for a wider view of the entire moment, establishing shot of Kamado Tanjiro walking on water. Oh, and just a quick tip, sometimes you'll actually get better results if you write your prompt before adding your reference images, especially for close-up or extreme close-up shots. It gives the AI a bit more context before it processes the visual style, which can make the framing feel more accurate. Alright, Now we're going to work on the face-off scene between Tanjiro and Kokushibo. To start, we're going to generate a few shots of Kokushibo. Just like before, we'll begin by giving the AI a reference image, something to show what our character looks like. Ideally, you want what's called a character sheet, a collection of images showing the character from different angles, front, side, back, etc. In my case, I only found a front view of Kokushibo, but if you can get multiple angles, that's even better. Next, we'll add visual references to guide the AI towards the kind of style we're looking for. I'm aiming for this particular visual style, so I'll drop in this image here, but you can also include extra references, maybe a specific facial expression or a pose you really want the character to have, and then we'll add a visual effect. In this case, I'm going for something like flames. Once all the reference images are in, I'll type in my prompt, establishing shot of Kokushibo standing during the dark night. I'm using establishing shot here because I want a wide view of the scene, something that really sets the stage. And there we go. The AI gives me Kokushibo with the right appearance and the style I was looking for. Now we want to see Kokushibo's facial expression up close, so this time I'll write in the prompt, extreme close-up view on the face of Kokushibo during the dark night. And there we go, now I've got an extreme close-up view of Kokushibo in the exact style I was aiming for. Alright, let's do the same now, but this time for Kamado Tanjiro. Since I want a wide view of the scene, I'll write in the prompt, establishing shot of Kamado Tanjiro preparing a powerful attack. Finally, I also want a close-up view of Tanjiro's face, and here it is. A nice extreme close-up that captures exactly what I want. As for the other models, they all work in the same way. For example, the Vidu 2.0 model uses the exact same interface, and the overall workflow is pretty much identical. The only real difference lies in the visual output. With Vidu 2.0, you'll generally get more dynamism in your animations, but the character's appearance may vary a bit more between frames. On the other hand, the Q1 model gives you more consistency in the character's look, and the visual quality tends to be higher, though the motion might feel less dynamic. So if you're going for fluid, energetic movement, you'll probably want to go with Vidu 2.0 or even Vidu 1.5. The exact differences between these models, what they do well and when to use them, will be the focus of a dedicated tutorial coming up soon. Alright, so now all that's left is to bring everything together. You'll just combine the different clips you've generated to create your final animation. To do that, you can use any video editing software like CapCut or DaVinci Resolve. That's where you'll add music, voices, sound effects, transitions, everything that brings your animation to life. For AI-generated voices, you can use tools like 11 Labs. Let's take the face-off between Tanjiro and Kokushibo as an example. I'd start with an establishing shot of Tanjiro to set the scene, then I'd cut to an extreme close-up of his eyes, showing that intense, focused gaze, like he's anticipating something. Right after that, I'd switch to an establishing shot of Kokushibo, revealing who Tanjiro is staring at with that level of tension. That kind of shot sequence helps tell the story visually, builds emotion, and gives your animation a more cinematic feel. Now I'm going to add some music. For example, here I'm picking a suspenseful, tension-filled track from CapCut's music library. For sound effects, I'm looking for something like the sound of intense flames, something that matches the action and brings the scene to life. And here's the result with all of that added. Another tip, when you're working on a fan-made project, one thing that can really make a difference is using the original soundtrack. But be careful, using official music can get your video taken down or flagged for copyright. That said, there are amazing fan-made tracks out there that capture the same energy and intensity as the originals, and you can safely use them as long as you properly credit the creators. A great example is Samuel Kim Music. He makes high-quality orchestral covers of popular anime like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul, and many others. In fact, his music is what I'll be using in this fan-made project. Now let me show you an example of what the final animation can look like once all the clips are edited together.
あいつに立ち向かわなければ刀を一閃すればお前の命など霧のように消えるこの村の人たちは皆殺しにされる母さん今日の空すっごく青いよ絶対に許さない日の神かぐや愚かだエヴァ
And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Now, of course, we didn't cover absolutely everything, like adding special effects, camera movements, combining multiple characters in the same scene, creating more diverse shots, or even how to choose the right music and sound effect transitions and so on. Otherwise, the tutorial would have been way too long. I'm really glad I got to share this with you today. Don't hesitate to apply these techniques to other anime, like One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and beyond. Alright then, see you next time.